Hey, this is Meridith, Elliott, Powell, and welcome once again to another Saturday morning early where we are getting ready to go live with Sales Logic. I am here with my co-host, Mark Hunter. Hey, Mark, how's the week been for you?
The week has been good. You talk about early. We should try this maybe at like 2:30 a.m. or something like that sometime. I don't know. Hey, you've had a busy week. Now, you were on the road this week?
I was on the road. Sure, I did. I was on the road to Pennsylvania. I did a live event there. I also did a lot of television interviews this week for my brand new book coming out in June. So it's been exciting.
That's cool. Yeah, it really is. It really is amazing the number of live. When we say live, okay, this is live, but we're not face-to-face. Live face-to-face stuff that's really starting to open back up. And like Outbound is coming up here in about 6 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. You and I are both going to be there. And that's really coming together well. About 700 people, it sounds like, live in person.
That is the sales conference of the year, right?
That really is. And Meridith 100 to save $100 or Mark 100 to save $100. It's the same deal. So anyway, hey, we should probably jump into the show because I think we're talking about a subject that hits home.
I agree.
Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
All right. I love that video. Welcome again to a Sales Logic, the show where we dive into the strategies, discuss the steps, everything that you need to know to sell logically and effectively. Again, I'm Meridith Elliott Powell, and I am here with my co-host, Mark Hunter.
Hey, thank you so much. And for those of you listening to the podcast, you say the video. Well, that's because you're not catching us live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. I think that's the time it is. Yeah. So join us sometime on a Saturday morning. But hey, great to see you. Great to be here.
You too. So, all right, let me give you a rundown of how the show works for those of you who are not regulars. We start out every week with a hot topic. What's really trending now and what do we need to be discussing? My favorite part of the show is we take a question from you, the listener. That's right. You can be involved. You can be on Guest Logic simply by going to our website, saleslogicpodcast.com, or just put your question out there on social media with hashtag Sales Logic. Also, we dive into a book that you need to be reading that'll increase your sales acumen. And we finish with a lightning round because we want you to get return on investment. So, Mark, what's up this week?
Well, I like that you use the word business acumen. We're getting into big words here today. Yes. Hey, we've got a great topic. The topic for today is really a mind for sales. What does it mean to have a mind for sales? We got a question from a listener. We got a book. And we got the lightning round. So, hey, stay tuned. It's going to be about 20 minutes of fast action. So, hey, let's jump into the question. The question comes from Michelle in Boston. She asks, how do I stay motivated when I'm facing call after call that doesn't go anywhere?
Yeah, boy, that is welcome to the world of being in sales, right? You've got to be able to stay in the game even when it's tough. One of my favorite things to do to stay motivated is you need to give yourself an easy win. If you're facing call after call that isn't going anywhere, most likely you're reaching out to prospects you've never spoken to before. You need to mix a little bit in there with prospects or customers that you've had before, people you've spoken to, people you've sold to before who probably have more opportunity with them.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I call that the pizza goal. Yeah, pizza goal. You're going, what the heck is this going? If you've ever seen the movie Tommy Boy, have you seen the movie Tommy Boy?
Oh my God, we used to train with Tommy Boy.
Yes. I mean, it is a classic movie. There's a great scene in the movie where Chris Farley and David Spade are in the diner. And he's trying to get chicken wings. You know the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And he's successful at getting the the fryer turned on so he can get chicken wings. And David Spade asked him, so how we, well, I knew that we had a meat lover's pizza in the trunk of the car if I wasn't successful. And I call that the pizza goal, because what that means is that he had done something that he knew he was going to be successful in. And this is the whole thing. Just like what you were talking about, you kind of have some existing customers, you have some things in there, you kind of mix it up a little bit. Now, I say this, Monday mornings especially, I want to have a pizza goal. I want to have something that I know I can accomplish early and quick. Why? Because it motivates me and gets me going.
Oh, I love that. I think the other thing is that you need to probably learn to balance it with some things that really fuse energy into you. You know, I'll make a few calls, and if I'm not getting anywhere, I might go outside and go for a little walk, go downstairs, throw the ball for my dog for a little bit, something that kind of motivates me again. Sales isn't easy because it's a long game and it takes a while to stay into it. So do some things. I call it managing your energy versus managing your time.
I'll tell you what, that's so true. And you got to play the long game. It is so easy to allow a few calls or a couple of days worth of calls to, oh man, just make you feel bad. Don't. You have to play the long game. And over time, you do see success. It's a little bit like planting a garden or something like that. I mean, you don't see results initially. It takes time.
Absolutely. The other thing too is I would go back and investigate who I'm calling on. If you're really getting no response at all, there's a really good chance that you are not in your zone, that you're missing who you ought to be calling on, that you're maybe not in your ideal prospect. You haven't nailed the value statement. The problem isn't always who you're calling on. Sometimes it's how you are calling.
Oh, so true. Because I mean, I can go outside, I can be out in the woods at night and I can scream my head off and nobody will hear me. You have to make sure that you're focused in on your audience. Who is your ideal customer profile? And do you know the outcomes? And see, to me, that helps motivate me. Because if I know the outcomes that I can help people
predicted the national rollout of COVID
just helps
and reopening would jolt rehiring and hiring throughout
and
the.
I love this feedback that we're getting right now. But that's
sorry.
Even
I
even
don't
though
know
the
what's
numbers
going
are
on.
disappointing, America
News or
is still
something.
moving
I've got
in
to
the
do
right
a television interview
We
later, and
saw
I
more
think
people
that they
looking for
have
employment in the month of
popped up on me.
April than in the previous
Let's
months,
see if
which
I
is
can
great.
get them out of here.
But critics claim extended unemployment benefits, $300 a week in federal aid on top of state payments, encourages people not to.
Got rid of them. Sorry.
There we go. But we were talking about critics, unemployment, and so forth. So anyway, hey, that's the news. But so
yeah, I apologize. I'm getting ready to do a television interview at the top of the hour, and I think the feed went live into my stream there. So sorry about that. Mark, what is the topic for the day?
Well, the topic for the day is a mind for sales. What does it mean to have a mind for sales? Jump in.
Well, I think that subject goes to you, my friend. You wrote the book on what it means to have a mind for sales, but I'll take a crack at it. I mean, in essence, what we're talking about is mindset, correct? We're talking about really getting your head correct. That it's all, I always like to say that it is mindset before tactics, that I can give people strategies, I can give them techniques, I can even give them the roadmap of how to sell effectively. But if your mindset isn't right, then you're not going to be in the right position.
That is so spot on, because your mindset, your attitude going into a sales call is going to determine the results you get coming out of the call. I see that time and time again when I'm working with, well, nothing's going to happen from these calls. Nothing's going to happen. And you're right, nothing does happen. But if I go into it with an attitude that something's going to happen, it's amazing how I just listen better. So how do you get that? Here's what I suggest. You have to focus on the outcomes you can create. We were talking about that when we were answering the question from Michelle. What are the outcomes you create? Stay focused, not on what you sell, not even how you sell, but stay focused on the outcomes you create. And when you focus on the outcomes, it is amazing how it changes your mindset, and you're now zeroed in on knowing that you can help the customer. You can help them.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is that you need to do some mindset work. You need to ask yourself, what are you doing to set your mindset? You know, I'm a big believer that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you really need to surround yourself with people that that get your head right, that give you hope, that make you believe that you can do things. So what are you doing to really
We seem to have lost Meredith here. So, hey, let's continue to talk about what does it mean to have a mind for sales. First of all, it means, hey, you don't even bother to get flustered when something happens because you know that you can make a difference in the people that you're dealing with. So, what does this mean? This means, A, I'm focused on the outcomes like I was talking about earlier. But to get there, I have to be focused on being able to listen to you. And that means I go into a sales call and I actually let you drive. Whoa, that's scary. A lot of salespeople say, "Oh, I can't do that. I have a very set pattern of questions." No, I don't go in with a set pattern of questions. I have questions I want to ask, but what I have is I have questions that are going to open the conversation. And then as I let the customer drive, they're going to begin pointing me to the next question. Because having a mind for sales means that I'm going to not only have my mind focused, but I'm going to get your mind focused. And I'm going to create that level of trust. I'm going to create that level of authenticity and transparency and have a conversation. You know, it's very interesting. The most fundamental piece that you have to keep in mind is this. If you know you can help someone, you have an obligation to reach out to them. Now, think about that from a sales standpoint. Think about that from a prospecting standpoint. If you know you can help someone, it is your obligation to reach out to them. You see, this is what I tell people from a prospecting standpoint. Don't think for a moment that, oh, wow, they don't want to hear from me. Hold it. They're in your ideal customer profile. You know you can help them. You have an obligation. They just don't know you can help them. Now, here's the whole thing. You contact them, you reach out to them, and they go, wow, you're bugging me. You're bugging me. Well, you're right. You're bugging them. I get it because they weren't expecting your call. They weren't expecting you. You see, this is why prospecting is an activity done over a period of time. It is not a singular action. And again, this is what too many salespeople get hung up on. They get hung up on viewing prospecting as a singular action. They view a sales call as a singular action. You are on a journey. And what you're doing is you're slowly but surely laying the path, laying the groundwork for your customers to be able to understand what's happening out there. Hey, we're talking about a mind for sales, a little bit different show this morning. We seem to have lost Meredith, but that's okay. Here's what I'm going to suggest. I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to write down all of the outcomes you've helped your customers achieve. I want you to write them down. And you're going to write down those out. Now, it's not what you sold. Write down the outcomes. And I'll tell you what, you're going to look at that list and you're going to get kind of jazzed. Because I'll tell you what, if you're not jazzed about what you do, about how you help people, you really shouldn't be in sales. And this is why I say sales is not a job. It's not a profession. Sales is a lifestyle because the lifestyle is about helping people. And so stop and think about that. You know, great salespeople at the top of the game, they just aren't good salespeople when they're in front of a customer. They're great salespeople when they're in front of a barista, when they're in front of a waitstaff, when they're in a convenience store, because it's how they treat people. Because what they do is they put the other person first. They put the other person first to take time to be able to listen and to be able to hear what they say. And what they do is they do one very simple thing. They don't try to fix every problem a customer might have. You focus in on the top 1 or 2 priorities. And again, this is what having a mind for sales is all about, because you can go in and you can have the best solution for a customer. But if it's not one of their top 1 or 2 priorities, they're really not going to pay attention to you. You have to get focused. And how do you do that? You do that by really asking the questions and listening. And what I'm listening for is this. I'm listening for that customer to bring that up twice. When they bring it up twice, then I know it's a critical issue to them. Hey, we've been talking here about a mind for sales and the book, and I do encourage you to pick it up, A Mind for Sales, because I'll tell you what, It's been out a little over a year. We have over 200 reviews on Amazon on the book, which means, hey, this thing is making a difference. And it is. And in the book, I walked through my life story. Not my life story. I pick it up in college because I didn't want to go into sales. See, that's the whole thing. People say, well, I'd be successful in sales, but I'm not a born salesperson. I was not. You read the first couple chapters and you're going to hear my story. My story is I did not want to be in sales. So, hey, Meridith has rejoined us. We've been just carrying along here. And what can I say?
I am so sorry. I have put in a brand new studio down here, and we have been having technology issue after technology issue.
That's okay. You know what? I just faked it for about the last, 8.5 minutes, but that's okay. So, hey, I just told the audience about the book of mine for sale. And so, hey, well, let's go ahead and cut to the lightning round. What are some quick tips to stay motivated?
Well, I think number one tip, to stay motivated is first and foremost, you need to have a vision for your business, for your life. And I call it a relentless vision. I mean, if you came home with me, got up with me in the morning, you'd see I read my vision first thing, I read it again at noon, and I read it again before the end of the day. My vision and belief in where I'm headed is what keeps me motivated.
See, that's a key thing. You have to always remain focused. What are your goals? Because you have to own the day. You don't let the day own you.
I think another thing to keep you motivated is who's your posse? I mean, Mark and I both belong to this fabulous mastermind. We keep a text chain going and we share our failures. We share our successes. We share just funny things that happen to us in the day. But every time I get a message from my peers and my friends, I'm excited about that. It keeps me motivated. I ride their energy.
And you don't let the little hiccups, just like what we've had, you don't let those little hiccups stand in the way. It's okay, because you know what? You're always playing the long game.
Always playing the long game. One of my favorite things to stay motivated is to read biographies of really great, successful people. And the reason it motivates me is you see just how many times they failed, how many times they fell on their face, had to crawl back up and do it again. And it makes me realize that what I'm going through is part of the journey.
Don't let others define success for you. Only you can define your level of success. Don't get caught up in FOMO. Don't get caught up in social media. Oh, wow, look what they're doing.
Yeah. I like to recognize whether I'm on the peak or I'm in the valley. Like if I'm at the top of my game, which right before COVID hit, Mark and I think could both say, coming off some really fantastic years and you're on the peak. The only way you can grow and the only way you can expand and you can get to a higher peak is to go down into the valley. And when I get that visual in my mind and I say, okay, this is part of the process. I'm in the valley because now I'm going to get to a higher peak. I recognize that the slog I'm going through is part of the process.
I love that. And I lose a lot of deals. There's deals that don't go through, but you know what? I don't look at them as losing deals. They're learning deals. I'm going to learn something from it. Every day I go out and I say, I'm going to learn something new that's going to help me be more successful today. Whether or not I close a deal or I don't close a deal. Once you share one more, I'll share one more, and we'll close down this crazy episode of Sales Logic.
Well, here's one of my favorites is that this isn't going to last forever. If I have a bad week, and I had one the other week where, oh my God, the phone didn't ring. I couldn't get anybody to pick up. I get the email, I've lost 2 deals. I mean, it's just one of those weeks where nothing is working out. That's not going to last forever. I'm going to have a week where out of the blue stuff comes in like crazy. Things just are not logical. And so even when it's bad, it's not like my phone's never going to ring again. It's not going to last forever.
I love it. Never view any deal you have, anything that doesn't go right, as the only deal. There's always another opportunity. The sun comes up every morning. It's kind of amazing. And it's great. Hey, I want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Even with this being a little bit of a wonky show this morning, if something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend about our show. It's how we grow to help you grow. And hey, we'll get a great show next week. Don't worry.
I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
I'm Mark Hunter. And remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity and do the show with confidence, we did pull it off.
Uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical. And hey, make sure you check out Outbound here, outboundconference.com. We'll see you there.
We'll see you there. We'll see you next week.